Well everyone, you made it. Thank you so much for joining me on the first episode of the Love Cafe. Today we take a trip to France where we're making something that the French so curiously call a crêpe serviette. I have the finished one here to show you guys, and I gotta say it's not good. I don't know why you would elect to use this over something so simple like paper towel. Oh sorry. Yep. Oh, okay, so that's, yeah, right. My apologies, everyone. Today we're actually making a crêpe Suzette. My bad. We're also going to be making a berry compote and a dessert style crêpe to go with it. So we're obviously going to need some crepes today, and that recipe comes from Redditor u/CuriousFrenchie, who I can only assume is French, and this is their Candlemas recipe. I'm not quite sure what that is. Actually, let me have a look. Candlemas is a Christian holiday celebrated annually on February 2nd. It celebrates the occasions according to Christian belief, the presentation of the child Jesus' first entry into the temple, and it celebrates the Virgin Mary's purification, mainly in Catholic churches. There you go. We learn something on the Love Cafe all the time. Anyway, for Curious Frenchie's crepe recipe, we will need 250 grams of flour, 600 mils of milk, 4 teaspoons of brandy or cognac if you have it, 5 grams of salt, 60 grams of butter, 4 teaspoons of water, and don't forget 6 supple eggies. The first thing we're doing on a low-medium heat is heating up our 600 mils of milk. Don't let it boil. So, now that our milk's on, we can make a well in the middle of our 250 grams of flour and crack in 6 of our eggs. And then whisk. Cool, so now that this is all combined, we can go ahead and mix in our 4 teaspoons of water and also 4 teaspoons of brandy, our 5 grams of salt. This is actually 6, doesn't really matter. And you might be wondering, why am I using someone else's crepe recipe or batter mix? Well, I've tried this recipe before and it ain't broke, so don't fix it. It's a pretty good recipe. So I would highly recommend that you give this one a go, and props to Curious Frenchie. Now that this is just about to boil, but not boiling, we can take it off the stove and bring it over to our bench, where we're going to add in our butter and mix it in so that it melts. So our butter and milk is melted, and now we need to whisk it into the rest of the batter. To do that, we're going to continuously whisk the batter whilst we pour in the butter and milk mixture, so that we don't, 1, cook any eggs, and 2, form any lumps, or at least try and mitigate that. That was a bit quick. Once you get around halfway, you can go a little bit quicker with the milk and the butter, because everything's nice and warm, and we're looking for a really thin, basically a water mix really. Okay, so I was low-key nervous that this batter was just like way too thin and wasn't going to work. I mean, I have made this before, but not in a while. And so now we're here, cooking a sacrificial first crepe for cameraman Corey. It's looking good. I don't know. I would say this is looking good. Hell yeah! You got a nice little detail. I'm using a Tefal model crepe pan. They're very, very expensive, and I was lucky enough to be sponsored by Tefal. Shout out. This is like $20 in the meat aisle in Woolies. So grab yourself a crepe pan if you really want, or just use your own pan. I don't care. Right, so once you've made your sacrificial crepe, we're going back on a medium. Get some butter in there to grease up. Try not to burn it, like I'm nearly about to do. Clutch. Then I'm using about half cup of batter in the pan on the side, and then we swirl around. And then you just leave it. You could probably go for a 5K while this cooks. You know, you got heaps of time. Do your VCE for all you Year 12s out there. You can go do some studying. You just leave it for a few hours. It's like a roast, and then you come back to it and it's good for you. Once it has sort of cooked on the bottom, it'll unstick itself and it'll be really easy to slide around. And you can either flip it with a flipper, or you can be extra and have a crack at this. Right?
Yeah. Smashed it.
Whilst our crepes are cooking, we can try and do the impossible task of multitasking and prepare some of the things for our Suzette. One of those things would be zesting an orange, well, an orange and a half, maybe 2. This is, truth be told, this is the first time I've done this, so we're kind of just making some educated guesses here. So we're going with 2 oranges, and I'm also going to do just half a lemon. So the other thing that we need to do for our crepe Suzette is get the juices out of these boys. Now, friend of the show James so adamantly suggests that we cut the oranges on a diagonal to apparently extract the most juices. So to get started on our Suzette, we're going to grab 4 tablespoons of caster sugar and chuck that in our pan. Also about 3 tablespoons of butter, which is all going to go in. And we're just going to keep mixing that until it becomes caramelly. To then we're going to add our zest and some juice, some triple sec, and a bit of vanilla essence, and make kind of like an orangey syrup, and cook our crepes in that. Alright, to multitask even further, we're going to start on our compote. So that, we're just going to go, depending on how much you need, this is something easy to kind of customize. Let's just stick with about half a cup of mixed berries, to which we'll add a tablespoon of sugar. There's a tablespoon and a half in there, but I don't think we'll need it. And we'll hit it with the juice of half a lemon. You can use orange if you have any left, or lemon works well that I've found. Then a pinch of salt as well. Keep that on a low heat and that'll just sort of cook away. Now that our butter and sugar is really caramelly, we'll go ahead and add in half of our orange and lemon zest. Make sure the heat's not too high, which I think it might be here. Quarter of vanilla. Alright. Alright, we're going in with a quarter of a cup of triple sec. And some orange juice. Oh, hard. I think we should start again.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Now that everything's coming together, you may see the remnants on the pan of the one that I just burnt and have started again. But that's why this is a learning channel. You know, we kind of do things a bit fast and loose at the expense of learning. Like that's an expense. So let's get our zest, orange and lemon in there. Let's go, I think all the markings on this are off, but that's about a quarter of a cup, I reckon, of orange juice. And then we'll go similar amount of triple sec. If you have Grand Marnier, you can use that. And then we'll cook this off just a bit. And then we can add our crepes. Don't forget a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract or essence. Our Suzette mixture has reduced quite a bit now. So let's go in with some crepes. So we're going one side and the other side, and then doing our best effort to fold into quarters. There we go. Lovely. Repeat that with a few to fill up the pan. Okay, I am as ready as I'll ever be, I guess, for flambeing. This is the first time you'll ever see me do this, which is why I have the most important safety aspect. This is probably meant to be on a wall. Anyway, it's something. So I'm going to do it with brandy, and because I don't have anything else to use. So, my understanding is you put the brandy in the pan, and then you light the brandy, and then you flambe it. So you flame it. Tilt back. Woo! And then that's just cooking the alcohol. Alright, not so bad. Looks sick, but alright, so this is all finished with. Now we can just come over here and plate up. My plating skills are pretty much non-existent. So let's just go on here. One. Cool. For the dessert style one, we're going to be using just your standard Nutella. Getting that on our crepe, to which we're going to chuck on a few strawberries around. I think the best memory I have about dessert crepes, or just crepes in general, is when I was in Byron and I was walking down the main drag. Just ignore the burnt side. There we go. And I came across this crepe stand. I was like, guys, grapes. And then I had a Nutella, banana, or strawberry crepe, and it was amazing. If you were smart enough to pre-make some chocolate syrup, you could drizzle that over as well, and that would look beautiful. But for now, that's what we have on that one. And for our last one, we're just going to chuck on the compote that we made, which is all kind of jammy now. Beautiful. You can top that with some cinnamon, it's quite nice. Actually, you know what? We'll go with some cream as well. And then top that with cinnamon. There you have it. First episode of Love Cafe done and dusted. We did crepes with 3 kinds of toppings, each with a bit of varying level of difficulty. I hope you had fun. I sure did. See you next week.